Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
His name and he appears. The man is here on YouTube tonight. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Don't want to be too loud because the baby is trying to sleep upstairs. I like to get through this without being interrupted. So we're going to roll here. What is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993. And we are here live on YouTube for my live review of yesterday's WWE Premium Live event. The second to last one, not including the two Saturday night main events. But the second to last Premium Live event of 2025. And hopefully the second to last one that I do not have the ESPN subscription. Which, again, I am looking to probably get that around Christmas. By then, I'll have some certain bills paid off by then, and hopefully things can relax a little bit. And I'm going to take advantage of that Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN bundle, as my wife and I do have interest in both. Well, for sure, Disney Plus and ESPN. Well, Hulu as well, but I'm hoping to take advantage of that in December, once some things get taken care of on my end personally. But we are here live for my live review of Crown Jewel 2025. It took place yesterday, again, October 11, 2025 at RAC Arena in Perth, Western Australia. The Australian fans at one point said F Saudi Arabia, and we want Mania. Ooh, they threw down the gauntlet right there. This was the first edition of Crown Jewel that did not take place in Saudi Arabia, as this one again took place again in Australia. And gotta be honest, again, I said in my rushed and not as energetic preview for Crown Jewel this past week that I was setting my expectations lower for this show. Even though I knew it had the card to deliver, but I didn't want to come out of Crown Jewel disappointed like I was with WrestlePalooza. I've been saying that, especially if they're going to make us pay, because look, I can't remember what all I said with my WrestlePalooza review, as far as, like, you know, the whole ESPN plan and such, but I'm going to say it now. As a wrestling fan for the past 12 years, I was spoiled with being able to watch pay-per-views pretty much for free, because there was, the first few months, they're still just the regular $50 pay-per-views or whatnot. Any ones that I did watch after I got in, I split them with my friends. Now, of course, we had the WWE Network for $9.99. And you just pay that, and that was it. You pay $9.99 for all the content in the world and even pay-per-views. Then it got bought out by Peacock, which luckily Peacock is covered under many like Xfinity plans you may have, cable or whatnot. We used to have cable. We got rid of it this past summer, but we still have internet through Xfinity. So because of that, we still get Peacock Premium for free, which is pretty awesome. And now again, of course, with everything spreading out between some stuff's on Peacock, some stuff's on Netflix. Now we got ESPN getting premium live events, and whatever the heck they decide to do next, again, it feels like again we are paying more for less. And again, like, for me personally, it's like I was so spoiled for most of my first 12 years as a wrestling fan Now it's just like, it's getting taken away in some aspects. Some people posted this thing online where it's basically showing how much you have to pay a year, basically, to be a WWE fan. To watch Raw, to watch SmackDown, heck, to watch NXT if you watch NXT, and now how to watch pay-per-views. If you don't have these deals through other things where you can get certain things are included in that plan and whatnot. So again, you really have to step up these shows. I'm not saying every show has to be an A-level show, but it has to be a show that I don't feel like I wasted my time. I don't feel like I wasted my money. WrestlePalooza, I would not have paid $30 for. Crown Jewel. If I could say I would say I would pay the full $30 for Crown Jewel 2025. But I'd be willing to pay $25 to watch this show. This was definitely one of the strongest editions of Crown Jewel WWE has done. I would say either this one or Crown Jewel 2022, the year Roman Reigns fought Logan Paul, I'd say has been the best edition of Crown Jewel so far. What was better about this show than WrestlePalooza to me was the fact that besides there was a lot of right decisions made, every match felt like it had something that came out of it to look forward to. Or some things like John Cena and AJ Styles, which was a last time match, didn't just feel like just a random, just a match for the heck of it on the card. It had a purpose to it. It was a nostalgic masterpiece that, to me, it's like you couldn't do anything better than that at this point in both men's careers. Both the Crown Jewel Championship matches delivered. Personally, the men's was better than the women's, but the women's was still good. The stuff with the women's tag match was great. And although I thought the Kabuki Warriors should have won, I felt the way they lost was the proper way for them to lose. The only match that I have mixed feelings about is that opener with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. And we'll talk about that one, of course, in just a second. But that's the things I look for a show that I feel like that's worth watching. Yes, you can have all the great in-ring quality in the world. Yes. But if you give me nothing else to look forward to what's next, that's the main reason why I'm here. I want to not just see great wrestling. I want you guys to see, okay, you got to see this next, basically. I need something to make me interested in what's next. And Crown Jewel succeeded with that. That was missing from WrestlePalooza. Crown Jewel, though, had me intrigued and wondering, how's Asuka going to feel about this? Or, okay, now that Stephanie Vaquer has, conquered yet another big obstacle with her rocket ship push to the top, now it's time to really see what she can do now. Or, of course, even though I have mixed feelings about the opening match, the story was told right afterwards with Roman Reigns and the Usos. Roman Reigns still basically showing that although he seemed to become cooler, he doesn't handle losses well, and that might show he may not have changed at all whatsoever. And how does that eat at Jey Uso, who is going through some type of a career crisis right now? And of course, the storytelling off the charts with Seth Rollins having all the odds stacked on him in that main event. Again, it's just the very simple things that I look for. And when they're done right, I'm happy. I got nothing to complain about. So, we're not going to be doing too much nitpicking in this show. Again, most of my not quite positive stuff is going to come from that opener. Why? But I'll explain why when we get to it. The right person won. I'll put it that way. But there's something that was bothering me about that match that we kind of got in the first match but didn't have the results. But we'll talk about it, of course, when we get to that. If in case you haven't noticed also, or you don't follow me on any of my social media platforms, I've been thinking for a while that my social media for the channel is very bland. Nothing's really cooking for it. Honestly, my TikTok is the most successful because even like this past match card for Crown Jewel, last I saw had like 35,000 views on it. And I've gained so many more followers. I'm almost am I at 500 followers on TikTok yet? Let me see here. And I really don't put much effort into my TikTok. I just really opened up to a very awkward looking TikTok right now. And even I had another follower or two. More people liking that. I'll have to watch that later. Not quite, but I have 479 followers on TikTok now. And that's probably the social media service that I do like the least effort on. But like my Instagram and Twitter barely even have 30 views on it. But 30 followers on it. And that's kind of my fault because last year I did start over with social media after some personal things happened with my previous accounts. But I'm really trying to get like things like gelling again. Which is why for the first time, I did a post about each individual match. Because also another reason why I don't tweet live during shows anymore is because most of the time I'm not watching them live. So I don't want to look on social media and get spoiled. So it's like, I gotta get my thoughts back out there on the shows. So that's why, I don't know if I'll do this for every single pay-per-view. I did a thing where I tweeted out, my thoughts on each match and a grade I would give it. So from now on, in my reviews, for pay-per-views only, I'm going to list in the description my grade for each match. So, just something different I'm going to try. Again, I only have so much time right now, but I also, again, still don't want to, be wasting it either, having like social media accounts that are just there just for links to my videos. I need to have something else on there to kind of spark some things up. Maybe if I watch a TV show this coming week, maybe I'll post something about that. Like something to get the momentum going again. But it's 12 minutes in here, and it's already 10:30 at night on a Sunday. And I would like to do a few more things before I go to bed. So I'm going to get to the review of Crown Jewel. But first, got to check my friendly live chat and see what we got here. Looks like we got two of my very good followers on here. Mr. Tyler Hodder and Mr. TM Couponer. Tyler says, "Hi Mike, Seth had to win, and he did. For sure he did. I just had a top 10 worst world champions ever. No shock on number 1 is Vince McMahon as ECW champion." Oh, lordy, yes. Again, I didn't watch back then, but of course, when I saw, the amount of, handicap matches he had against Bobby Lashley, oh, Lord, that had to have been horrible. Poor freaking Bobby Lashley. AJ and Cena was his match of the year. I could definitely understand why. I do think either that match or the main event was the best match of the show. Not sure which one I liked better, but both of them were... You could possibly see that on both on my top 10 matches of the year list when we get to 2025. Tia Bar says, "I just watched highlights on YouTube and saved a lot of money." I guess so. I watched it on a bootleg site, and it was free. It was like freezing every 4 seconds. Only for like a second. It's like we have Bronson Rhea going up. For most of it, it was a pain in the butt. Like I said, it's only one more pay-per-view you have to go through like that for me. Great point. You got to keep me tuning in. Which point was it I talking about? Not sure. You can watch that video. Yes, Tyler does have that video online. Great call. Oh, great call on Vince McMahon, worst champion. Yeah, I wonder. I do gotta see if you put Jinder Mahal on that list as well for his WWE title reign. But I'll have to check it out at some point. But thank you guys, of course, as always, for your support. Yeah, I know TN Couponer works at nights, so I do know his schedule's tough, but I continue to appreciate your guys' support whenever you can give it as well. And Tyler said, yes, he is on there. Good. But without further ado, we are going to get into the review. So, not too much that really happened outside of the matches. There wasn't really too many, backstage segments or other things. One thing we did learn, was that during a press conference this week, Seth Rollins kind of ditched the Vision a little bit. So that kind of rolled into some effects in the story throughout the night to really hype up the main event and put a ton of pressure on Seth Rollins. Again, that was done very well. And we'll get to that, of course, at the end. But we opened up with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight. Now, this, in my opinion, I thought was the weakest match on the show. And it wasn't bad. But I still had my problems with it. The biggest problem I had with this match, besides the fact that I thought it was for a street fight between two big men, that this wasn't the first time they met each other, and this is, of course, Roman Reigns trying to get his revenge on someone who put him in the hospital. You would have thought this would have been like a car crashing, fast-paced, I'm going to destroy you type match. And if I've got to be 100% honest, for a street fight, it was very tame. But that's not the biggest thing that bothered me about this match. What bothered me the most, for the first 5 to 10 minutes, Roman Reigns dominated Bronson Reed. I can't tell you how much offense Bronson had gotten in on Roman until maybe 10 minutes into the match, after Roman had, treated him like he was playing cricket and chucked balls at him or something. I don't know. I didn't like that, because what I liked about their first match was that they did have Bronson Reed booked like a monster. In this match, although Bronson won, spoiler alert, he wasn't booked like a monster. He won the match, yes, but he kind of won the way Miz would win a match. Or someone who, we know for real can't beat Roman Reigns, but they found a way with, outside interference or something to win a match. Bronson Reed is not supposed to be that type of guy. Bronson Reed is supposed to be a monster. And I didn't feel he came across as much of a monster in this match. So that was my big problem with the match. But everything else around that, I was fine with. Braun Breaker got involved. The Usos got involved in the match. But Bronson Reed won whenever, I can't remember, I can't remember if Braun was still in the match or Bronson was in the ring. Jay goes to spear whichever one of the Brauns it was, but instead they stepped out of the way, and Jey Uso speared Roman instead through a table, and that caused Braun Breaker, I believe, to push him out of the way, and Bronson Reed to hit one tsunami on Roman Reigns, and Bronson Reed won. Which, again, it's I gave this match a B. But, to me, it's I gave it a B because the right person won. And how they, that post-match segment with Roman Reigns, just snapping on the Usos because he lost. And he says, this only works when we win. And then he says, look, I love you guys, but I had to do this myself, but I love you. But, yeah, I don't want to see either one of you until Christmas. And he walked out. Jey Uso, who has been an interesting storytelling piece lately, he tells Jimmy he's still the same guy. Implying that although, Roman has kind of softened up a bit the past year, he kind of showed there, although it may seem like he's changed, he really hasn't. And then he says, I'm out too. So I'm pretty sure this is a different way to write Roman Reigns off TV for a little bit. Which obviously, yes, because like him coming back for a couple weeks, then getting beaten down and going away again, was kind of getting a little old, not gonna lie. So this is different. And it does leave me intrigued to wonder, because Jey Uso is going to the dark side. Jey is probably going to go heel soon. How they do that, though, I don't know. Like, maybe, again, Roman realizes, again, that he still has, like, some monstrosity in him, but maybe all this build-up on Jey leads to Jey becoming even more dangerous than Roman ever was as Tribal Chief. And Roman Reigns realizing the monster he's created in Jey Uso. So all that was done right. But the in-ring, like I said, the in-ring work was not horrible. I just hated that Bronson Reed won the way a chicken shit heel would. And not like a monster. I don't know, again, maybe because, he already lost to Roman once before, but then again, what else would they have done with Roman at Clash in Paris? Because if they were waiting for like a moment to book Roman in this situation where he doesn't take losing well, he would have lost back then too, and, would have kind of already been to where we got to a Crown Jewel. So, I'm interested to see, though, where this all goes. Again, this does give momentum for the division. But again, I just wish Bronson would have been booked better in this match. But afterwards, though, they're celebrating backstage with Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman tells them that if Seth Rollins, is ways for them help, we don't do it. Tonight, he's really got to prove himself. Really stacking those odds even more against Seth Rollins. Could he actually beat Cody Rhodes? And there will be real consequences if he loses this match. So, the fact that they were stopping that division, we're stepping back and letting them do this, really got to me too. So, we'll get to that in the main event. But then we had the second match of the night, which is for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Stephanie Vaquer, the Women's World Champion from Raw, take on the WWE Women's Champion from SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton. I'm not going to lie and say I was worried about this match. Because again, the build was very meh. It was just typical two baby faces, I respect each other, may the best woman win. Kind of boring, but, kind of boring build, but like I said before, I feel like every show's going to have at least one of these. And if it's just that one with no other story to it, whatever. It's not the end of the world to me. And this match showed that, both women, are still learning, are still getting their feet wet. I know Stephanie Vaquer is getting much more of a rocket ship push than Tiffany Stratton did. Tiffany took a little more time, even though, of course, she's only been on the main roster for not even 2 years yet. And a year after she gets called up, she is women's champion. And, of course, this was her first loss of 2025. Spoiler alert. But it was one of those matches where I felt like, okay, these two are too good in the ring that you can't put them in there and expect a bad match. You're going to get a good match, whether if it's just good or amazing. But this one was just good. Like I said, I feel like you could get a better match out of these two. But what we got was fine. Stephanie Vaquer won the match, although people kept talking about her cheeks. Yeah, apparently Steffi Cheeks is a thing on Twitter now. My goodness, if Vince McMahon was still in charge, who knows what he would be doing. He'd probably be changing her name to Steffi Cheeks, or making Steffi Cheeks a thing. Oh, gosh. But Stephanie Vaquer did win. Again, what a first year for her. She won 4 championships in her first year. The NXT Women's North American Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, the WWE Women's World Championship, and now the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. And, oh boy, I still can't get over it. But again, if there's anybody that can pull off getting like a rocket ship push to the top, it's definitely Stephanie Vaquer. Again, her English, still a work in progress, but she's getting better. But now it's like, okay, you've given her these moments, you gave her like the highest honor, now it's kind of time to really see what she can do. So I look forward to seeing who her first feud is going to be with as Women's World Champion. And of course, we will roll from there. Tiffany Stratton's going to be okay with this loss. Tiffany's biggest problem, though, with her reign, again, is still the fact that she has a lack of a division. So we'll see who she fights next. Who knows? It'll probably be either Nia or Jade again. Why can't we get her and Chelsea Green? And again, why can't we put the Women's Championship on Chelsea Green? Chelsea's ready for it, believe it or not. But what do I know? All right. The third match of the night. Oh, yeah, of course, I did give... The first two matches each got Bs. But then we get to John Cena and AJ Styles. Now, I gave this match an A-. The only reason why I gave this match an A- is because I knew it was not going to top off their SummerSlam 2016 match, which will be forever their best match by far. So what are two guys in their late 40s gonna do with a legendary rematch like this? Well, first off, John Cena came out and not just did his new intro that he gets every time he comes out now, but we also have him hand Alicia Taylor another piece of paper. He wrote one for AJ Styles, giving him kind of like the same treatment in this match. And if I pull it up here on Twitter to find out what it was that they introduced him as, which obviously did catch AJ off guard. They introduced him as the definition of total nonstop action, the ace and undisputed boss of Bullet Club. It's my honor to see if he can beat John Cena one final time, or I'm sorry, beat up John Cena. He is the face that runs the place. I do wish they would have mentioned the champ that runs the camp. The phenomenal AJ Styles. And this whole match was, as I call it in my post and in the introduction for this. This match was a nostalgic masterpiece. Sure, they got in there for a few minutes and then their normal shtick. But then all of a sudden, they just went haywire and had so much fun. Basically, both of them, of course, near retirement. John Cena has 4 dates left, 2 Raws, 2 pay-per-views. Well, 1 pay-per-view and 1 special. The last Saturday night's main event of the year. AJ Styles, who has made it official, he's retiring around WrestleMania 42. Both men, basically after, getting their, best stuff out there, they would then start putting finishing maneuvers or submissions on each other for callbacks for their, from their best rivals. Let me see if I can find a list here of which ones were used. Let me see what I can find here for you. Like, okay, we got John Cena doing a skull-crushing finale. That's The Miz. The Accolade, Rusev. The Coquina Clutch, Samoa Joe. Walls of Jericho and Angel Wings. Both of them, Chris Jericho. The favorite one, and still that picture of the Fireflies coming out, John Cena did a Sister Abigail on AJ Styles. We also got a Scorpion Death Drop to honor Sting. We also got a Hangman DDT and an RKO for Randy Orton. A Dead Eye, which I believe is for Frankie Kazarian. A Choke Slam to honor Kane and The Undertaker. AJ Styles did a sweet chin music on John Cena, and I'm just like, dang it, I wish all those years we could have gotten we did get John Cena and Shawn Michaels. But But we never got AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels. And remember, Shawn Michaels came out of retirement to do that DX and Bros of Destruction match at Crown Jewel 2018. That was horrible. He couldn't come out, though, and do a match with him and AJ. My goodness, that would have been so good. And the last one was John Cena hitting a tombstone on AJ and then an AA to get the victory. Now, I'm not going to lie, the only thing that bums me out about Cena winning is the fact that this was a rivalry that really made AJ Styles successful in WWE. It's something that, was his that you couldn't take away. But again, I don't like the fact that John won this match, and I think the last 2 times him and AJ went one-on-one, he won. So, it kind of evens up the scale between the two of them. And, I don't know, again, I just wish that they would have at least had AJ win this, just so that AJ could, really cement that rivalry as his. But, again, this match was just a nostalgic masterpiece. And that is, obviously, again, I gave it an A- because it was not going to top off their SummerSlam match. But this was the best they were going to be able to offer at this stage of their career. And they both went out there and just kicked ass with it. I enjoyed it. Again, it's either this or the main event as my match of the night. Either one I can totally understand. But John Cena wins. Him and AJ do hug it out at the end of it. Great way, of course, to, do this match one final time. All right, after this, we had this tag team match with Io Sky and Australia's own Rhea Ripley taking on Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. Crowd was a little bit, I don't know, I expected a little bit more energy from them with Rhea being in this match. But, they had just gone through that masterpiece by John Cena and AJ Styles. So they could have been a little tired. But the match I thought was still great. And although, again, I'm disappointed the Kabuki Warriors didn't win, I do like how they lost. Even though, again, a confusion I have had is 1 week Kairi has a sympathetic side to her. But then the next week, it's she has a full-on heel side to her. This one, it was a full-on heel, I have no sympathy towards my former best friend type thing. But I like how they lost. Because the way they lost was, I guess Kairi tried to tag herself in whenever, Asuka was in the middle of something. And I think she then, of course, took the bullet for Asuka, trying to, show her loyalty to her. But it backfired, and it led to the faces getting the victory. I think Rhea hit the Riptide, and then Io hit the over the moonsault to get the victory. So again, I still thought the Kabuki Warriors should have won. But now, obviously, Asuka's going to be disappointed in Kairi. And whatever she does next to her, I don't know. But this, I thought, was what it needed to be. And again, that interesting finish. So, that match got a B+ for me. And then our main event. We'll do the main event, then I'm going to get out of here because I'm tired. But the main event was the men's Crown Jewel Championship between the undisputed champion Cody Rhodes, or QB1, as they're now dubbing him as, taking on the leader of the Vision, the visionary, the revolutionary. He is Seth freaking Rollins. And as I said, so when this match was first announced, you knew at some point these two were going to have to go one-on-one again. And their simple history made this match a draw. But then when they did this thing where Seth Rollins, the idea that Seth has been 0-3 against him since coming back really bothered him. So much so that he even asked Paul Heyman, Paul, what if I do lose? What's going to happen? And that got you invested because although, of course, Cody's the face, Seth's the heel, the person that needed this win most out of the two of them was Seth Rollins. And it made you want to see Seth win. And again, the idea again of that Paul Heyman and the Vision decided to stay back and let them figure it out for themselves, and having Seth win with his own tactics, I think is even more enjoyable. So Seth won the match. Well, first off, give credit also there again. Like, they played off the story of Seth being under so much pressure so well. Because there was a segment on SmackDown on Friday where Cody Rhodes had asked Michael Cole to repeat what the crowd was saying, but instead Wade Barrett did, calling Seth Rollins a wanker. But obviously, Seth, knew that happened, and he even got on Michael Cole and Wade Barrett during the match, and then he did some other stuff like he did a pedigree to a stomp. He also did a coast to coast headbutt, and even a Spanish fly. The psychology was off the charts in this match. And even Seth trying to do some mind games about Dusty to Cody and whatnot. This match had pretty much everything it needed. The only reason why I gave this match an A- is because I felt like they could have been just a touch bit more drama. Just a wee bit more drama in this match. But again, I like that, Seth had that watch that Cody had given at WrestleMania. And Seth won the match because he knocked out Cody with a punch with that watch. And afterwards, he hit not just one stomp, but a second as an avalanche stomp. And Seth Rollins wins, as he should. And he even says afterwards, this proves why I'm one of the greatest of all time. And honestly, again, he ain't lying. But the show closed with both the men's and women's Crown Jewel champions celebrating in the ring. And yeah, that was Crown Jewel. I'm getting a little tired, so I'm going to check out here. But I gave the show, again, a B+. Again, I would probably spend $25 out of the $30 required for this pay-per-view. Again, it was great, but just would have liked a tad bit more. But it was still definitely much more worth watching than WrestlePalooza. All right, let's check the live chat. Then I'm going to get off the air here. Let me see here. Yes, I do remember Roman saying he doesn't want to see the Usos until Christmas, and we'll see how that goes. We got Robbie in the live chat. Thank you, Robbie. He says, Mikey! What a show last night. WWE offered 1,000,000 times better than WrestlePalooza. This is what the inaugural WWE Premium Live event on ESPN should have been. Cena versus Styles, clearly cut match of the year candidate. Agree with all that, Robbie, for sure. And again, I do think you could see both the main event and John Cena and AJ Styles both on the match of the year list at some point as well, too. I do agree, yes. Who's worse, Vince's ECW champion or Jinder Mahal? I would probably give Jinder the rub as the worst one because he had no story. Vince at least somewhat had a story, but it still wasn't good TV. Don't give them any ideas. I can't remember what I said. That was, oh my goodness. Thank you, Cena and Styles, and probably the Steffi Cheeks stuff. But he said, I hope this leads to Io versus Kairi versus Asuka. I know we got the match on Raw, but I want to see an even more grueling match between Io and Kairi as well, too. I was hoping Asuka made Rhea tap out. That's the thing, too. They had both Australians win their matches. I thought for sure one of them was going to lose. Let me see here. Did you notice Seth Rollins' tights? Martial pattern from their last 3 matches. Really, I did not notice that it was in there. Why are AEW keep having Sasha have 10 belts? This is overkill at this point. I have no idea, to be honest. Mike, have you played that sound clip I sent you a while back? You know what? I don't think I played it on here. Do I still, of course, have it? I believe I still do. Let me double check it. I believe, yes. I believe it was this one he sent back on the 21st. I think it was in response to my comment I made about about Michelle Tanner, and then you reply back to me with this.
Hey, Mike, thanks for your message. Your discovery connection that you made was definitely unexpected, but still cool to hear. You know, that connection you made with Full House and 918 and whatnot. So, yeah.
I'll explain that one in a second.
Thanks for sharing that with me. Now, in my response, I've got something funny to share with you. So one of my favorite series of movies to watch is the vacation movies with Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah, you said that. Not the CM Punk one. Crap, and then for some reason the message deleted. Dang it! Dang it. You're disappointed with me on that one, Robbie. Dang it. I swore I still had it, but that was the earliest message it was showing I still had for some reason on Instagram. I know I probably played it at some point on here, one of my old streams, but I wanted to play it again with you here. Dang it. I gotta remember what it was I even said on that. I'm sorry, Robbie. But yeah, hashtag Steffi Cheeks. You know Vince would have called her that. Made her like a Sandy Cheeks gimmick or whatnot, but whatever. Rob said, I think the Kabuki Warriors. Oh, he sent me a new message. Hold on here. Let me read this from Robbie. And I'll play the message again. I think the Kabuki Warriors should jump to SmackDown, and Asuka, the nefarious means of via Kairi's interference, should dethrone Tiffany for the title. Not opposed to that really at all, especially if they do want to give Stephanie Vaquer a longer reign with it. I'm not opposed to that idea. That is a genius of an idea. But let's play, of course, the message that Robbie sent me just to remind me, which again, I'm sorry again, I forgot. I lost it.
Hey, Mike, so when you get this, don't play this until you talk about Cena versus Logan Paul. But I thought about this. So I was surprised that one, John Cena won, and B, that Brock Lesnar did not get involved and cost him the match. I wasn't bummed or disappointed. I was just surprised that Brock didn't get involved. Now, Brock not getting involved reminded me of course, the CM Punk podcast, where he's talking about finding out he's going to lose to Brock at SummerSlam, and then he's like, great, who's going to be at work the next day? And then Vince McMahon was just silent. And then he was like, well, you. And Punk's like, why? Do I get my rematch at the next pay-per-view? And Vince goes, no. And then Punk's like, well, when is Brock coming back? And then Vince is like, Rumble. And then Punk goes, fucking hell.
Right, because again, that match with... they didn't need to waste one of Cena's matches on Brock. I'm sorry. Again, the match was whatever at WrestlePalooza, but again, that's a match where it's like, no matter what happens, it's not gonna be anything special, and it wasn't anything special. It was just a very average match, but it's like, again, it's like, why did they have to do that match? But yeah, no, I remember that clip that you had played for me. Oh man, but eventually Stephanie and Becky need to cross paths on Raw. I still think, again, here's what I would do, what I'm still thinking. I think Stephanie Vaquer should hold the belt until Rumble. Well, even though this probably won't work now, because I'm still pretty sure the long-term plan is to do Becky and AJ at WrestleMania. I think they're holding off to doing that till Mania. They could get that to there. I'm not 100% sure, though, if they can. It's just like with Seth and Punk. I don't know if they could really extend that to WrestleMania. They may be able to, but I do feel like that feud's kind of dragged on long enough. So, I don't know. But anyways, what I was thinking, they should have Stephanie hold the belt till Rumble. Drop it to AJ Lee. Have Roxanne Perez win the Rumble. And do AJ Lee versus Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania. Since that's pretty much a dream match for Roxanne. And even though she's being booked in a position right now to lose at times, like, the moment the door opens for them to push her to the moon. Roxanne Perez is going to go to the moon. So that was why I was thinking that, but they may not do that yet. Like I said, it's looking more like they're going to try to hold off on Becky versus AJ till WrestleMania. But yes, eventually we have to get Stephanie Vaquer and Becky Lynch. How about WrestleMania, Becky versus Steph? Title versus title. Another title versus title match for Stephanie Vaquer, oh boy. He also said, I think AJ should win the women's IC title. WWE doesn't want to overexpose and oversaturate Stephanie with having her hold multiple titles at once, which is true. I do agree with that. We don't need infinite titles Vaquer. Infinite titles Vaquer. But yes, like, you do gotta be careful that although, you know, Stephanie Vaquer is the right person to get that rocket ship pushed to the top, you don't want to, like, overexpose her. Like, again, I'm sorry, AEW did that with Will Ospreay. They got, like, you realize they have, like most of my lists. Okay, here's a spoiler alert for my 2024 best matches of the year list. I'm going to go to that list, and I'm going to, well, okay, I won't tell you which ones they are, but I want to tell you how many Will Ospreay matches I have on that list. And I probably could have done more, but you know me, I like to mix it up a little bit in my lists. But let me see here. I have my number 9, my number 8, my number 7, age match. Actually, it's only 4. I have 4 Will Ospreay matches on that list. I probably could have done more. I really probably could have done more, but I tried to consider some other things as well in there. But this year, I don't know if there really is any that I would put on my list for a Will Ospreay match. Like, what was Will Ospreay's best match this year? I don't know. Like I said, I do feel like they kind of like gave him his big swings immediately, and now it's like he's with the ones that are like not as huge, so of course his quality is going to dip with the people he's wrestling. But for sure, yes. Was I only expecting AJ Lee to return during the Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch match on Raw? She could have, yes, but that match with Becky and Maxine was actually really good too. Maxine has definitely improved a lot. And yes, Survivor Series War Games is on the way. But based off what we had on SmackDown, I can see them doing like the War Games matches and maybe like a mixed 5-on-5 Survivor Series match with the Bloodline and the Wyatt Six. I think we could see that concept come back this year for that. I'm sorry, MFTs and the Wyatt Six. But yeah, thank you again for your guys' comments in the live chat. For Robbie, TA Couponer, and Tyler. Again, like I said before, Crown Jewel to me was definitely worth spending the money for. Well, if I would. Again, I watched on a bootlegger site. Again, I'm hoping still by the end of this year, I will have the Disney Plus bundle, and I will have pay-per-views bought. But I gotta take care of some things first. But as long as things go to plan, they should be taken care of by Christmas. So that way, of course, I'll be ending the year getting that bundle before that special goes away for the $30 for 12 years. For 12 months for all of them. And don't go calling the Bloodline. Solo lost that privilege when he lost the Tribal Chief Combat at the start of the year. Like I said also, too, they have to do more with the MFTs for me to actually give a damn. Because right now, I don't give a damn at all. But yeah, it's 10 after 11. I'm getting ready to go to bed. And start another week. So again, just stay tuned for the content to come again. I am, again, though, considering after Survivor Series this year, taking December off from doing Raw and SmackDown reviews. Last year, I only did it for 2 months because that was around the time of the birth of my son. This year it's not the case, but holidays do get busy. So it's maybe it is best, just so I don't burn out and like stress myself out, I may take that break again. But of course I will still review Saturday's main event and like any other little wrestling topic videos and other things, like get them out there. Maybe hopefully by then I will have some of the best and worst match videos done. Again, they're getting there. They are getting there. Here's the thing, once I get one done, the rest of them are going to come even faster and faster and faster. So they will most likely, because I am going to do, of course, ones for each year to follow as well too. But I'm pretty sure I'll be start working on 2025's edition as well before I finish these. But they're getting there. I can keep saying, the more you see other content being posted, the more closer I am getting closer to getting those videos done. So making progress with those, and I thank you guys as always again for the support. Again, I'm gonna be trying some new things with some different posts and different things with on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure, of course, you guys give me a follow on both platforms for sure. Again, I know I don't advertise by TikTok all the time anymore, but you can follow me on TikTok as well. If you have TikTok, I have 479 views on TikTok, which is basically just full of nothing but like my match cards or advertisements, random stuff here and there, but basically stuff just to highlight, just to advertise my videos, like turn alerts and match cards and anything else. Because also, TikTok has gotten a little more sensitive about some things. So there has been certain things that I have like gotten like penalized for on TikTok. So I don't want to take as many risks. That's why I am a little more like selective with what I post on TikTok as well. But surprisingly, again, that's definitely my best social media platform so far. So definitely check me out on there, guys. And again, Crown Jewel got a B+. Again, the first two matches each got a B. The third match and the fifth match each got A-, and then match 4 got a B+. And again, I still would debate either between AJ and Cena or Cody and Seth being my match of the night. So guys, what are your guys' thoughts on Crown Jewel 2025? Was it also worth the $30 for you as well? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below, and slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well, the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, and I'm literally just tossing this like stress ball thing in my hand as I talk right now. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'll catch you guys all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!